Hello, hello. It is Topical Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. Steve Sipress here, starting off with the Rhino of the day from my Rhino Court 1995 calendar. It is the August Rhino, and I love the artwork on these fun rhinos. I've been sharing them recently. This is the Sailing Rhino, sailing away in the Rhino's Cup. And there he is on a beautiful day like it is here today in beautiful sunny Arizona. But that doesn't stop it from being unseasonably chilly in much of the country. I hear the weather broke a little bit on the East Coast. Was talking to a couple of clients there, but over in the Midwest there's issues, and then there's rain in California and so forth. Weather's always changing, of course. And so, but one thing we've learned recently, after Al Gore lost the election for president, he decided he needed something to do, and he became the world's #1 proponent of the climate change, global warming, I think they called it back then, hysteria, that the sky is falling, the earth is ending, it's the #1 threat. If you listen to the leftist loonies, a lot of them go off the deep end. And I know a lot of them. A lot of people who follow me, that I spent the first 18 years of my life in New York, and then the next 17 years up in Boston area. And I recently spent 15 years living in the Chicago area, and those are three bastions of absolute liberal lunacy. So I still have plenty of friends and family that are way off the deep end on the left side, otherwise intelligent people that so easily fall for the climate change hysteria scam that is very easy to explain if people would just use their mind. And then I'll get into the brilliance and the lesson to be learned from that for all business owners. I mean, here's the way it works, okay? #1, the government announces we've got bazillions of dollars available for anyone that can do some research and find some solutions or do some studies about X issue, in this case, global warming, or then when that seemed to not work so well, they changed it to just in general climate change, because the climate is always changing. So, of course, that's a no-brainer. That's always going to work. And so that's step one. Government announces we got tons of taxpayer money to give away. Step 2, anybody with a clue about how to fill out the forms for government grants and go in and do any kind of semblance of an interview and maybe have any kind of science degree. These include people that are otherwise not, at the top of what anyone would call a ladder of being smart or intelligent. A lot of them went to state schools and got some kind of science degree. We all know people like that. But anything at all that you can say to the government that, hey, I'll do a study of whatever, or I'll study the solution of this, or I'll do some research on that, or whatever. And sure, here comes ridiculous amounts of government money, so you do not have to, if you get the grant, you don't have to go get a job. You don't have to actually contribute to society in any way for years, months, however long it's going to take you to do this study and continue to get these grants. And then, of course, step 3 is you're going to want to have conclusions that are going along with what the government viewpoint is, so that you can continue to get more grant money, of course, and that you can get a new grant and so forth. So in this climate change hysteria world, it's anyone with a science degree at all or any cockamamie idea that I'll do some research or come up with a solution or whatever, instead of just doing it the way it should be done, which is in the private sector. Hey, I'll go work for a company and I will do some experiments and come up with solutions inside the private sector. No, I'll go suck money out of taxpayers' hands when the doling out the free money types were in office, like for the last 8 years, Obama and the rest of the socialist leftist loonies that just love to give out government money. Government is the solution to everything. Let's just spend taxpayer money we don't have until we're in debt up to our eyeballs and have no chance of paying it back. We still got to throw government money at things that the government has no business being involved in. But you just line up, you get the grants, you do your research, and then you want to say, hey, it looks as though it's this and that, what the government thinks, so we need some more money to extend that grant for another year, or let's study this now, or let's do that. And that's the 3 steps of how it works. Now, how do I know this? I know a bunch of people that have taken advantage of this for a while. I even have one lefty loony, a friend from way back in my Boston days, who, number one, displays his inferiority complex on social media by continuing to claim, well, these climate scientists, of which no one knows what that really means, of course, they're smart. Like we're all, I know plenty of smart people. You want to meet smart people. You don't just think, and I know plenty of scientists that, hey, they're good in science. Hey, they went to, they got a science degree in high school. They went to their state college. They couldn't get into a good school, but they got into a state school, and they got a science degree, whatever. They can fill out a grant. They can convince the government to give them money. Like, they're smart in that way, but it doesn't mean they're any smarter than anybody else. I certainly don't post stuff like that on social media as if somehow, because they understand how to do some kind of a chart about the weather somewhere, that makes them so smart, that it's so mysterious that I can't challenge or question what they say, when of course, the climate's always changing. So, of course, they're going to say the climate's changing. But nobody has ever quantified how much man is possibly changing it, or how much man could reverse it, or what. But let's just throw more money at it. So, but this guy constantly really buys into this and doesn't understand how the game is played. I almost got sucked into this world. I wouldn't say almost, but I got offered to be sucked into the world, because when I was graduating law school and did not want to become a lawyer, and a few months later, I started what became my first multi-million-dollar business, and I never looked back and wanted to become a lawyer. But back then, when I was graduating law school, one of my professors, who knew I didn't want to be a lawyer, and he wanted me to, stay and get into that profession, be in the legal world, and he said, you know what? He offered me this game of sucking and manipulating the government out of its money with these 3 steps. And he said, there's this new technology. This was 1985. New technology is coming out where every car is going to get to have a phone in it. And we were like, what? That just sounds outrageously crazy. I mean, and now I'm holding a cell phone in my hand. But back then, cellular technology was just about to burst onto the scene in the mid-'80s. And it was starting with the car phones, if you all remember that. I remember going out to sitting in my car making calls on the weekend, because they were free long-distance calls. Otherwise, they'd be 25 cents a minute or something. So that technology was just starting, and he said, so therefore the government is going to have to write all kinds of regulations to go along with it. They're going to need to hire all kinds of people, and since you have a law degree, that's going to give you a leg up on getting hired to write these regulations that government is going to have to write, pages and pages and thousands of tons of regulations, and you'll have a job for years without having to really contribute to society or get a job or do anything useful. You can just suck money out of the government because they're going to be giving it away. And I was like, no thanks. But I knew plenty of people that did that, and I know plenty of people that right now do it in the world of science. They do it with this client science BS. And here's the lesson to be learned. And Jerdog is here. Great to see you. So the lesson to be learned from all this manipulation and persuasion, this climate change hysteric game, is for all business owners, you want to find a way that you can do the same thing. So the genius of switching it from global warming, when that proved not to be true, that not necessarily is the globe warming and things, the polar ice caps are not melting in 5 years like Al Gore predicted 8 or 9 years ago or something, and, polar bears aren't going extinct or all that nonsense. Let's just call it climate change. Well, climate is always changing. I mean, I don't think I was more than a 5-year-old kid when I was reading about how the oceans once covered the earth and the volcanoes came and the dinosaurs because of this, and then there was all this heat and all this ice age and what. I mean, I was playing with dinosaurs. That's what it was. I was playing with dinosaurs as a 5-year-old kid and learning about, these existed in the ice age and the woolly mammoth. And so climate's always changing, of course. So why don't we claim that there's some kind of science and that we can actually do something about it? Because, man is always going to think, well, some men always think that somehow they can control everything and they can do anything. And so people will believe that, especially certain types that want to believe that, they're virtue signaling, hey, I'm doing good for the world by studying how to save the planet. Save the planet. Oh, go green, save the planet. Like, of course, go green. That doesn't mean the government has to be doling out bazillions of taxpayer dollars to do it. Excuse me. So here's what we have learned now. that when there are record hot temperatures, of course, that's due to climate change. And when there are record cold temperatures, like there have been for the last few weeks all throughout here in the U.S., well, that's also, you see, due to climate change. So that is brilliant. So you want to find a way in your business to do the same thing, that no matter what happens, especially something that's just bound to happen, people need to buy your product or service. So I'll give you a few examples. Let's take antifreeze. Antifreeze. It's the green stuff you put in the radiator of your car that stops the water from freezing in the winter. And certainly up north right now with like 0 degrees and wind chills down to whatever, you need this antifreeze. But what's going to happen in the summer? No, they're not going to sell any antifreeze. Or down here in Arizona where it's, 75 degrees and beautiful. How are they going to sell antifreeze? Oh, I know. It also acts as coolant. See? So now you need this green liquid in your radiator all year round. You need it because when it's very cold, it's going to stop the water from freezing. And when it's very hot, it lowers the boiling point and it's going to stop it from overheating. So you need this green stuff all the time, no matter what. Okay, that's one way. Another example is, I've worked with a lot of insurance agents. So insurance agents, well, of course you should buy insurance when you are older and have more of a chance to get sick is when you should buy the health insurance or the life insurance. You're more likely to die. It's time to buy some insurance. Take care of the burial costs and all that. You don't want to pass on your credit card debt to your spouse, your family, whatever. However, so why should I buy insurance when I'm young, though? It doesn't make any sense. I feel like I'm going to live forever, especially if you live in the ridiculous way I lived when I was a kid, as if I was going to live forever doing all kinds of stupid things. So, however, it's cheaper. It's so much cheaper if you buy it when you're young. And you can buy a cash-based, cash value life insurance policy that can build up as an asset you have. You can even borrow against it through your life. So it just makes sense. And these are, great earning years for you. And your company will match it. But insurance agents find a way to sell insurance. Whether you're young or whether you're old, they're going to tell you that's the perfect time to get insurance. Brilliant. Another example, the world of sports. So when should you give 100%? When should you put the pedal to the metal if you're playing sports or you're playing on a team? Well, of course, always, right? The coach is going to tell you if you're behind in the game or if you're behind in the season, like you're in second place and you're trying to, overtake the team for the pennant, well, you got to give 100%. Now's the time. Dig deep. Give 100%. Pedal to the metal. Do everything you can. You can do it. So what if you're in first place? Or what if you're way ahead in the game by like 20 points? Well, now what are you going to do? Now you should ease up? No! Any decent coach is going to tell you, no, now you got to put the pedal to the metal. You got to close. You got to finish them. If you don't, they're going to catch you and they're going to pass you for first place. Or they're going to do like the Patriots did to the Falcons last year in the Super Bowl, or I didn't watch the game, but one college team did to another last night. Georgia, Alabama, one of the teams was ahead at halftime, was a shutout, and they ended up losing the game. Because in the halftime locker room, the coach told both teams the same thing. Now is the time to give it all you got. But coach, we're shutting them out. We're way up. Like, yeah, but if you don't give it all you got, they're going to pass you by and win, which is what happened. And the other team was behind, and coach is saying, now you got to give it all you back. Yeah, but it's hopeless. We're out of it. We're being shut out. Yeah, no, you can do it. You give it 100%. So coaches can always sell. Now's the time to give 100%. Speaking of coaches, another example is me as a marketing consultant. So when is the time to ramp up your marketing? Well, 10 years ago, when the Bush, the housing bubble hit at the end of the Bush spend-orama 8 years, and spending us way into debt. And then the housing bubble burst and the economy just completely went into recession. That was the time to ramp up marketing. I mean, all kinds of businesses of all time have started in recessions, have started in tough times. Man, if you start in tough times and you learn how to be successful when times are lean and money is tight, watch what happens when the money's flowing in. If you keep those habits, you're going to be wildly successful. And it's easier to steal clients from people because most people are not marketing in a down economy because they're scared and they're waiting till it ends and they're worried about where the money's coming from or if they're going to go out of business. And now's the time to take market share and be there when the market turns. Well, now the market has turned, the economy, the economy has turned, and the economy's booming, and for the foreseeable future, unless some black swan event occurs, which could always happen, things are going to be booming thanks to massive deregulation and tax cuts. All kinds of things are going to be happening in the economy. Well, so now, Steve, I guess now's not the time that I need a marketing consultant. No, now you absolutely need a marketing consultant, or else you're going to be left behind while all your competitors are taking advantage of the booming economy. If you don't now do some sharp marketing and put some systems into place and really get your message together and target the right market and use the wow strategy and do everything right now, yeah, you'll make some sales. The economy's booming. Everyone's going to make money. But you won't capitalize on this boom unless you do all the right things. So you see, what you want to do in your business is the same thing. You want to learn from these client science types that whether it's hot or whether it's cold, yeah, that's why I need more government money to study more climate change and to come up with solutions, because the earth is going to end because it's too hot, and the earth's going to end because it's too cold, and I need more government money. Well, the same thing in your business. Find a way to put out a message to persuade, manipulate, sell, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. Find a way to put out a message that people are going to need your product or service no matter what. So when they say, yeah, but that's exactly when you need it. You just said I need it when the opposite. Well, you need it both times, because that's how we sell. Oh, it was another one, the thermos. You know how beautiful, like Michelle? Her sister got a special water bottle thermos type thing for Christmas, and she just showed me the other day, oh, I just got one in the Costco. And what does the thermos do? Well, of course, it keeps your hot coffee or your soup or whatever, it keeps it hot. Well, what else does it do? Oh, I know. It keeps your cold drinks cold. See? That's brilliant. So you need a thermos because it keeps hot things hot, keeps cold things cold. You need, in sports, you need to put the pedal to the metal, whether you're winning, whether you're losing. You need a marketing consultant, whether the economy is tanking, whether it's booming. You need life insurance, whether you're old, whether you're young. And the climate is definitely changing and the earth is ending, whether it's hot or whether it's cold. It's causing global warming. So that's the lesson for today on Topical Tuesday. So thanks, everyone, for being here live. I don't see questions, comments, concerns. For sure, put them in the comment box. This is a fun one, especially if, like me, as I said, I'm connected to lots of friends and families that are off the deep end, loony, liberal, leftist lunatics who really believe somehow that because it's, quote, science, that somehow it's some mysterious thing, and we'll just believe them when they say, give me more taxpayer dollars because the record cold, you see, that means that this and that's why it's because of global warming. That's why you're getting the cold temperatures. I mean, it's brilliant. And I hope you do the same thing in your business. Think of a way to come to a conclusion that no matter what the facts say, it supports your conclusion that people need your product or service no matter what the facts say. That's it for Topical Tuesday. I will be back tomorrow with Wisdom Wednesday. I will be here early in the day because I am flying up for a quick business meeting out of town. And I'll be leaving in the morning and flying back and be home in the evening. So I will be on early with Wisdom Wednesday, and I hope you will join me then. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Enjoy the day, the sunset, wherever you are, or if it already has. And little rainy type clouds are in the sky around here. Maybe there's some rain coming around. Not around here, though. It's beautiful. And I'll catch you tomorrow on Wisdom Wednesday. Thanks for being here today. Bye-bye.